just to bring people up to date, what is going on with ourselves and the whole issue of funding. We can't do anything or very little without actual funding to help the victims. We can continue on in our campaign, which we will do, but when it comes down to actually giving the support and the help to an area that's one of the worst affected areas of the conflict, we're being denied the proper resources. We actually put an application in for funding to CRC over, well, it was to run for 18 months. They hadn't even made a decision on that application. Hadn't made the decision. Them 18 months is up. They never put it to us in writing that it had been torn down or told us that it had been torn down. Why? They want to close Fair down. That they don't want a voice for the unionist stroke innocent victims in Northern Ireland. They're quite happy, and this is people within OFM, DFM, some of them who are DUP. Now, I don't know if Peter Robinson is actually fully aware of this. Part of me hopes he's not. And the fact that some of the men in OFM, DFM are some of the people behind what we have come through and why we're victims in the first place, it's another and total disgrace that they're actually allowed to make decisions on the future funding of FAIR. Now, I'll give you an example here. We've never had anything put to us in black and white, because if we had, we'd have had it into the courtroom. Hopefully we are now going to get it in black and white so we can go to court, because we have nothing to hide. We've never done anything to dishonour our loved ones or to dishonour what they stood for. We always have believed in the right to justice, and we will not sell that for no money. You can give a project for £10 million to the prisoners, and people can say, oh, we're buried in the past, we're this in the past, and we don't want to forget, we don't want to forgive, we don't want to move on. We want to do all of that, but we will not sell out the memory of our loved ones. And just to give you an example of the type of meeting that took place yesterday with CRC, the things that was said on it, like, doesn't matter how many victims you have in your organisation. This is not about what you do for victims. This is about how funding is run. Now, for the life of me, I cannot work that out. But again, whenever you look at the whole situation, and I will sit down and debate it publicly with anybody, what is going on with the victims, especially in South Armagh. We are being intimidated, we're being threatened, we have been harassed, you name it, and we're going through it. Why? Because there's people in OFM, DFM have decided that they will finish the innocent victims. Well, they won't finish it. They will not finish the innocent victims. The IRA thought they could do it with the Armalite and the bomb. They didn't achieve it. And we will not bow the knee to people who are getting £70,000 a year salaries to discredit and try to destroy the only voice that represents one of the worst affected areas of the conflict. And irrespective of what you think of Willie Fraser, I don't care what you think of Willie Fraser. It's the wee woman who at the minute is lying on her deathbed, who will tell you the only help she ever got after 30 odd years of living in pain and suffering, the only enjoyment she got was whenever FAIR rapped her door. About a month to 6 weeks ago, we were going to hold a walk, taking the route of the Kingsmill minibus to commemorate the 10 people who were murdered the night they were going home from their work, when they stopped the minibus and took them out and executed them, and went round and shot them in the back of the head while they lay dying on the road. we were going to walk that route. All hell broke loose. We were bigots, we were this, we were that, we were troublemakers, we were everything going. Why? Because we wanted to walk a road. The families wanted to walk a road that their loved ones travelled on their last journey, that cold winter night, whenever the IRA stopped them and executed them. Now, let's move on a number of weeks. This Sunday, this here is taking place. Now, I was actually in Camlock when they were handing these out, and I got out and got one off the individual. I don't think they actually realised who it was when I got out and asked them for the leaflet. But when I was getting back into the car, that caught on. But that's neither here nor there. They obviously weren't too pleased that I was in Camlock. But that's another story. But this is what's taking place. In Camlock, they have posters or photographs up on all the poles from where McCreesh Memorial is right up to the chapel. Now, on them poles they have the photographs of mass murderers, people who kidnapped individuals and tortured them before murdering them. These lead the whole way up to the chapel. And then what happens? They're holding mass to commemorate the memory of these individuals. You have the like of McCreesh, who was involved in the Kingsmill massacre. You have that individual Bournes. You have McVerry, another ruthless, bloodthirsty killer who shot a woman 38 times while she sat in her car. 38 times. He actually had to change the magazine in the weapon, and then he said it was a mistaken identity. But this is the type of people that they are. Now, this is 3 miles away from where we're going to hold our walk. But these people are being welcomed into the chapel, and a service is going to be held to honour these individuals. And nobody sees a problem in that. These people, they're holding a parade to commemorate these mass murderers, child killers, women killers, mass murderers, serial killers. And then they're going into the mass. The priest is meeting them and going into the mass, and he's going to commemorate these people and probably say great things about them. Nobody sees a problem with that. And you'll have organisations there who are being funded by CRC, the Community Relations Council. A number of people that will be at this parade are being funded by the very organisation that has said that we don't meet the criteria. And whenever we raise the issue about, well, how come relatives for justice meet the criteria? They get 5 full-time paid staff and they have 3 part-time paid staff. Now, I'm not knocking them. Fair play to them. They're getting it. But they meet the criteria. Who do they represent? The people, the likes of what's on these lampposts. That's who they represent. Who do we represent? The wee woman who was sitting waiting on her husband coming home from doing a day's work